We have tonight a couple of stories about unusual people. One's about a group of people who are purposely acting in unusual and attention-getting ways. But Patrick Murphy's story is about a guy who is unusual just because of what he does and why he chooses to do it. And a little advice: if he asks you to help him move this weekend, you might want to tell him you're busy.
Larry Gilles is a collector. Over the past 30-some years, he's collected the most interesting parts of demolished buildings. Marble entrances, steel and iron frameworks, architectural details, and entire facades, things that for years no one else wanted. Driven by an almost obsessive passion for preserving the architecture of earlier ages, he has, at considerable cost to himself, collected between 300,000 and 400,000 artifacts stored in warehouses around St. Louis. Larry met developer Steve Trampy in the late 90s when Steve was renovating the long-vacant Continental building at Grand and Olive. Larry had in his collection many of the original ornaments that had once graced the building's lobbies and elevators. And at some point it occurred to them, why not combine Larry's collection and Steve's business experience to create the largest architectural museum in the nation and maybe the world? So they bought a steel foundry in Sauget, Illinois, and started moving the entire collection across the river.
There'll probably be close to 12 or 1,400 semi-trailer loads of material that we're going to be looking at moving into the new conservatory within the next 6 months.
1,400 semis.
1,400. We probably moved 300 to date. All this material here is the entrance to the Century building, which was on 9th and Olive downtown. It was probably the only marble office building that was built anywhere in the United States. And we also were able to recover examples of all the steel framework in the building.
The collection varies from very small, what I call clock pieces, to entire building facades. We have well over 100 intact building facades. I mean, the entire would be a 3-story, 5-story facade of a building. And in some cases, just one facade that we have may weigh as much as 100, 200 tons.
And it's not just parts of buildings. They're reconstructing a lightning rod plant and an old blacksmith shop.
I guess it's been about 15 years ago we had the opportunity to acquire the blacksmith shop from the old United Railways shop, which was right down here on 39th and Park. It's a facility that was built around the turn of the century. It's a pretty complete shop. We were really lucky to get it. All the streetcars that were made for the World's Fair were built on these machines.
The new site for the museum has its own history and its own industrial architectural charm.
This 15-acre site here has 13 buildings on it. This is the largest building, the main building, the foundry building, and it was built about 1922. It was one of, at one time, many steel and gray iron foundries that stretched from Belleville to Granite City, which was referred to quite often as the Pittsburgh of the West. Really, for us, it's a rare opportunity not only to utilize the facility here for the collection and library and office, but it also gives us an opportunity to restore a great late 20th or early 20th century steel foundry, which is rarely ever done.
This property, St. Louis Steel Castings, was a remarkable find for us because the collection is huge and has been spread in as many as 8 or 9 different buildings and locations. This is a large enough property we can consolidate all of those collections at this site. Now, while the site is over 15 acres, Larry thinks that we will have filled it within not too many years down the road and will need to expand. So we would probably eventually have over 1 million items at this site.
At the same time Larry was collecting buildings, He also assembled one of the nation's largest libraries on the built environment, consisting of magazines, books, photos, and drawings on the nuts and bolts of the manufacturing arts, architecture, and design. The collection is currently in a warehouse in South St. Louis, but it will move as well to the old shower room of the foundry. But as ambitious as all these plans sound, it's only the first phase of something much bigger.
The eventual goal is that while this would be the museum for some years, the eventual museum would be on the East St. Louis riverfront, directly across from the arch, that becomes, as much as the arch, a signature building for the St. Louis metropolitan area. And when the arch was originally built, the original designers had said that as important as the monument, which the arch is, that an architectural museum was a key component to the original arch plan, and that has never been realized. Let's just do an incredible one-of-a-kind museum that will be truly national in its appeal and in its importance, and to do it here. And when you can be on the ground floor of virtually an impossible project, which this is, it's pretty exciting. And so while you can't even set a timeline, this could be a 5-year, a 10-year, 20, 30-year project, it is really exciting every step along the way.
It's a work in progress, an odd mixture of stone and iron, vision and passion, hard work, and the unshakable belief that in time it will all come together.